it touches in them, it's a very strong sense of joy, actually. But you don't know how to react. And because we don't know how to react, as emotion is often, suddenly you start crying. I've met big guys, you know, like, oh, I'm going to meet the Dalai Lama, or big deal. And he walks past them and they're like, woo. It's like, I don't know, it just touches something in them. And they're totally overwhelmed by this presence, by this very loving, but at the same time, incredible presence he has. In Tibetan, actually, the word for his holiness is presence. Hundu, presence. He has an incredible presence. And I'm sure there are people, probably rabbis and great beings who have an incredible presence. And you're so inspired by their presence. That moment when you feel inspired, that is called admiring faith or joyful faith. Wow, you're overwhelmed, you're inspired. Very beautiful. It's very special because you can be inspired to practice and transform your mind through the presence of these beings. So first you just believe in certain ideas, then you meet people who actually are like that, and you're inspired. That's the second type. And the last one is aspirational faith, which is the wish to become like them. I want to be like that. That's aspirational faith. So that's again aspiration, but the virtuous type. Here specifically virtuous. So this is basically taking you through a spiritual development. Believe in something that you haven't understood yet, but you believe you have understood maybe the object, but having understood it, you believe it to be effective. Right? You're convinced it's effective, and I should do this. Then you're inspired by those who have done so. Right? You feel joy when you meet these people, you're inspired. That's the second. And lastly, you want to be like that. You want to do exactly that. You want to become like that. And you work towards it. So you can see it's very beneficial. But we need all three of them. These three types of faith. And they give a lot of joy. And that's important. You need to experience joy. No joy, no Dharma. Sounds bizarre. But that's how our mind works. That's why we always say, don't meditate too long. It literally says if you meditate too long, and next time you look at your meditation cushion, you want to vomit. Don't allow that to happen. So whatever you do, do it in measure. Do it as long as you like it. Enjoy it. This is why Dharma practice is all about keeping your mind joyful. But here you have to be very careful. Am I lazy? Right? Like, joyful. I'll watch this movie. It's my Dharma practice. Okay, that's definitely not, right? No. To still be in the, like, you're really doing practice and you're doing Dharma practice, but you're not too strong on yourself. You're not too uptight. As Westerners, we're very uptight. That's our problem. I need to be a good Dharma practitioner. Right? We bring all our tightness into the Dharma practice. And that's a huge problem. That's why I keep saying the Tibetans are great candidates for Dharma practice. They're really good candidates because they're so laid back. And naturally laid back. Which is why you come across really weird teachings sometimes. Like a teaching directed at a Tibetan. Right? A Lama tells a Tibetan, if you don't practice, you go to the hell realm. And the Tibetan goes, okay. And then I practice a little bit. Right? We read this and go, ooh. Don't take it literally. This is taught to a Tibetan, kind of scaring them a little bit. So, oh, thank you. 5 to 12. Okay, that's great. I didn't even notice the time. All right, okay. Anyway, having said so, so important to be joyful, and faith gives you joy. Faith, the kind of faith we're talking about here, is giving you the joy of meeting someone, the joy of aspiration. All this is said to be, it's important to feel that kind of joy, but not a joy like a climax or something kind of joy, but rather a sense of satisfaction, a sense of calmness and joy. And based on that, you keep practicing. Very important. If you are not joyful, if you don't have that while you're meditating, stop meditating. Right? Stop meditating right away. Right? And wait until you're back in that state. Okay? All right, shame. Shame is a terrible translation. Shame is not a good translation. But It's the word we have, it's been used, so you need to understand it slightly different. It's a mental factor that refrains from non-virtuous actions out of reasons concerning oneself. So out of self-respect. I don't want to do this because it's not okay if I do this. Okay? That's a virtuous action. So a negative action, I will not do this. I will not cheat the other person out of self-respect. That's called shame. It's just there's no other better word for it.
It's not shame at all.
Pardon?
So it's not shame at all, like it's not like the shame that we know in English.
No, I know. Shame has this guilt aspect to it, right?
And he's considering others usually. Others looking at me.
Well, that's the consideration. The second one. We needed another word for that. So consideration is a mental factor that refrains from non-virtuous actions out of consideration for others. So maybe it could be the other way around. The first one is consideration out of self-respect.
Shame is like moral.
Pardon?
It's more like moral. Sound.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, these are the words that someone coined, and we can recoin those words, come up with new words, but I didn't want to do that, because why did I not do this? I was thinking the word is not good, but then if you start reading in other texts and they all use shame, you may not recognize it.
No, just for...
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's good that you said that. It's good. It's helpful. Okay, pardon? In like quotation marks. Yeah, sure, you can add those. So shame as in like really like refraining from something out of self-respect. Consideration is out of respect for others. Okay. Non-attachment. It's a mental factor that is the opponent to the mental factor of attachment. So it's detachment basically, right? Some of them are like, oh, what is this? Non-hatred is a mental factor that is the opponent to the mental factor of anger. So it's not patience as such. It's just, no, you're trying to stop the anger in that moment, I guess. It's not yet patience where you kind of happily do so, but it's just that stoppage of it. But it's hard to really define. I mean, like, it's difficult to define them precisely, but it's not the point of the exercise. The point of the exercise is that you recognize that this mental factor exists. Okay? And again, to check which one is beneficial, because those are most beneficial in terms of our practice. Non-ignorance. Okay, honestly, I know I don't like non-ignorance. Non-ignorance is a mental factor as the opponent to the mental factor of ignorance. Yeah, great. What is it? Don't know. Okay, I'm not sure. Never mind. Not that important. But diligence is important.
It's not like learning.
Or
Could be.
recognize.
You see, they keep it open. So it could be like, yes, it could be learning. It could be any kind of... It's not wisdom yet. It's not intelligence yet. But it could refer to the mental process that goes against the ignorance. Like I said, they kind of keep it open for us to just recognize there are these abilities of the mind.
It's like that in Tibet.
In Tibetan, it's just non-ignorance.
It's also non...
Yeah, of course. It's a literal translation here. Yes. Non-ignorance, non-hatred, non-attachment. It's just non-da-da-da, non-nada.
The same like in the book of mind and mental factors of
Yes.
Bhakti?
Yes. There's a book by Geshe, yeah, and I believe they're the same words. I've used the same words as mind in Tibetan Buddhism. Okay, 1 minute to 12, let's stop it. Okay, great. All right, we continue after lunch.